These are movie franchises that need to stop making sequels and end already versus ones that actually need to keep making more movies. First one that needs to end is the Sony villain universe that doesn't have a Spider-Man in it. Their hit rate right now is currently one good film being the first Venom, and the rest are either just mediocre like Venom 2 or absolute garbage like Morbius and Madam Web. And now we're getting Kraven the Hunter, which literally nobody on the planet asked for. I wouldn't even say he's like an A-tier Spider-Man villain in his own right, and now without Spider-Man in this movie, this is going to be completely useless, and we're getting Venom 3. It's going to be stupid fun at least, but still pointless. Sony could simply just sell the rights of these characters and Spider-Man for like billions upon billions of dollars to Disney and never have to worry about it again. I don't know why they keep making these movies. A superhero franchise I need a lot more of is the Batman universe. Now I know we're getting James Gunn's new DCU, that's going to be its own thing, but I want this to still stay as its own separate thing and keep expanding. And we're off to a very good start getting the Penguin spin-off series, and we know the Batman Part 2 is coming out in 2026, and actually Matt Reeves just came out and said that the plan is still to do at least a trilogy for the Batman, and I honestly want more kind of villain spin-offs taking place in this version of Gotham. The entire atmosphere is just so incredible, and I do not want to leave this amazing universe until we get the max potential out of it. You gotta do that fine line between milking this but also not underutilizing this amazing new version of the character. The Fast and Furious franchise ran out of gas so long ago, pun fully intended, and I know it was a terrible pun, but I don't care. When you can buy a 9-film collection of a series and still not have all the movies in the franchise, there's a real problem. I'm sorry, this whole concept has gotten so utterly ridiculous in these last few films because this just did not have enough content to go past like 5 or 6 movies. Now we're going to be getting Fast 11 next year, which is actually going to be the 13th in the entire franchise. This is just simply way too long. It's gotten so insanely ridiculous with each movie. And like, who's really going to be upset if we don't get like a 14th and 15th Fast and Furious movie? I'm sure they're going to try to turn this into like a TV show or something soon because that's what everything turns into at this point, and I'm sorry, it needs to just come to an end. Dune's another one I want to see keep going. Now we know we're getting at least Dune Messiah probably in 2026 or 2027, and we're getting a Dune Prophecy TV show in a couple months. This is a prequel taking place like 10,000 years before the events of Dune, focusing on some of the earliest Bene Gesserit of the Sisterhood there, so I think it has potential to be really good. I'm a little worried, but HBO does absolutely cook. What I mean when I want this to keep going longer is I think we need to get at least Children of Dune. Now we know Denis Villeneuve, the director of the first 2 Dune movies, said he's only doing Messiah and then calling it quits, but if you've read the book Children of Dune, it is kind of hard to adapt, but I think there's a way to do it that it could be amazing. Really think we should get to at least Children of Dune and maybe one other TV show spin-off. As long as they can keep the quality up, I don't see a problem with it. The only thing is they'd have to find a director that can somehow replicate what Denis Villeneuve does, but also doing his own thing for Children of Dune, which would be very hard, but I think they could find someone that could be a worthy successor. Yeah, I think the Sonic movie should end after the 3rd one. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of these movies, but I don't hate them. I think they're perfectly fine video game adaptations, especially the first one has a lot of really fun moments, and the 3rd one actually does look really good, but that's why I think it should end. Nobody really cared about the Knuckles spin-off show, and the 3rd one looks like it's going to be really good, so just go out on a high note with a good trilogy. Don't keep milking this for all it's worth. Just give us a good video game adaptation trilogy and call it a day. Before I continue, just let me know in the comments below one franchise you think should either keep going or end, and make sure to drop me a follow on Letterboxd at Vets Movies, trying to grow my following over there. Inside Out is something I think should really keep going because Inside Out 2 showed there's so many ways to keep expanding this and exploring it and growing up with Riley, having some of her in her older teen years, maybe an adult, or even showing her in her older age one time and maybe passing it on to her kid. I feel like there's just so much potential with this franchise to keep it going for at least 3 or 4 movies, because if they can keep up this quality, it could be some of the best stuff Pixar has ever done, right up there with stuff like Toy Story. We do know we're getting a Dream Productions kind of series. I think it's going to be kind of more like short films, maybe just some shorter episodes, whatever it's going to be diving into the dreams and how that works, so that's going to be interesting. I would love to see more in this universe. There's so many different ways we could explore this, or even just expanding to other characters besides Riley. On the other hand though, I do think Toy Story is a franchise that needs to end, because yes, I have all been good movies up to this point, and in some of my future movie ranking videos, you probably realize I had Toy Story 5 pretty high up, but we are really pushing the limit of these movies and how many times you can keep going back to the well. So even though I think Toy Story 5 is actually gonna be a really good movie, I think that has to be the definitive end. You can't keep having these like final Toy Story movies and then 2 years later when you need more money making another one. So like I said, just end it here and go out as an all-time great animated franchise. Now, this is actually a part 2. I'm linking below the first part. I think I repeated the Fast and Furious stuff in that video because I'm dumb and forgot I said it, but everything else is different in there, so go check it out.